Hi guys, it's Steffi from the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another installment of my Books Beside My Bed series. I film one of these every week and I recap what I have read over the last 7 days. So there is a whole bunch of playlists and I've been doing this since the start of 2018. So there's plenty of videos for you to check out if you would like to see what I have been reading over the last 14 months. Because this is my wrap up from the 24th of February until the 2nd of March, this video is going to include my monthly reading stats for Feb at the end of the month, where I just show a couple of graphs of things that I find interesting. So do stick around to the end of the video for that. Otherwise, let's get into it. So this week I read 5 books. One of those books was a non-fiction book, one was middle grade, one was adult, and 2 were young adult. 3 of those books were also review copies. I read a total of 1,409 pages and my yearly reading total is up to 52 books for the year so far. The first book that I read this week was Skyward Claim the Stars by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 1 in the Skyward series. It is a young adult science fiction series that was published at the end of 2018 by Galance, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is the special edition Fairy Loot book with the sprayed edges, and it is the story of Spencer, who is the daughter of a pilot who abandoned his post and was branded a traitor, and as such that label has spiraled down onto her family and cast them into disrepute. Spencer has always dreamed of becoming a pilot, and yet this shadow over her family's name has caused her a lot of problems, and so she has to fight for her way into flight school. And once she's in there, she has quite strong restrictions placed on her. And then she discovers something and she begins to unravel sort of the mystery of not only what happened to her father and why he was branded a traitor, but also the circumstances in which their entire people exist. And it's a very sort of curious thing. I really enjoyed the story. It's very fast paced. It is very technical. So if you don't like your technical science fiction stuff about the mechanics of how ships work and different flight maneuvers, you're probably not going to enjoy this as much. I, on the other hand, absolutely love that stuff. So this was really right up my alley. Spencer is kind of endearing in her inability to back down. Like, she's one of those in-your-face characters and she's forever spouting war quotes and all sorts of things. But it's kind of endearing because she never gives up her position. She believes in what she believes in and she sticks to her guns, which I really appreciate. The highlight for me in this is the talking artificially intelligent ship, who was just awesome, and I was laughing out loud in many conversations between Spencer and the ship. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll continue with the series. I actually quite like this book as a standalone story, even though the ending does have a bit of a cliffhanger-y sort of twist to it. But I actually think it stands alone really well. So I'll see. I'll see what happens if a second book comes out. Then I read The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is book 2 in the Folk of the Air series, and it was published in 2019 by Allen & Unwin here in Australia, and I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. This was an unsolicited review copy sent to me by Allen & Unwin, so thank you very much to them. I did request The Cruel Prince last year, so they may have sent it to me because I did read and review The Cruel Prince, which I did enjoy, although as the year went on, I basically just had decided to myself that I wasn't going to continue the series because I'd had enough of it. And it wasn't that it was bad, it was just that I'd had enough. But The Wicked King came, so I was going to read it because if someone's going to send me a review copy, I'm going to read it. I think that's fair. For those of you who are unfamiliar, The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King follow Jude, who is a human who was raised in fairy, and The Cruel Prince had quite a bit of twists and turns and backstabbing, and Jude is quite a political creature. She knows how to maneuver in the highly dangerous fairy court system because she's been treated like an outsider, but what that's also done is it's allowed her to understand how everything works. And so she's quite a manipulative character, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And at the start of The Wicked King, she's manipulated things to such an extent that she has quite a lot of power within fairy, and this is really about how she struggles to hold on to that power and how she has to deal with not being able to trust anyone around her at all, which is, you know, quite a daunting task. I have to admit, I quite like the twist at the end, but again, I'm still not sure if I'm going to continue with the series. It's not that the writing's not good or the story's not there, it's just that I don't think my interest is in that sort of fairy realm anymore, but we'll see. Then I read 52 Mondays by Anna Sidor. This is a Australian middle grade historical-ish type fiction book. that I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This was a review copy from Allen and Unwin, so thank you very much to them for sending it to me. And 52 Mondays is inspired by the author's real childhood, but embellished so that it's more of a fictional account. It's the journey of young Anna, who becomes obsessed with antique dolls, and she's determined to find one for herself that she can look after and love. And every Monday, she and her mother go to the local auction house to see if they have any antique dolls. And that's where you sort of get that 52 weeks sort of cycle. So every week there's something happening, but it's always highlighted by Anna trying to find a doll interspersed with all of that. So that's sort of the main plot thread that's running through it. But interspersed with that is all of the things that kids did back in the 70s. Sorry, I spoke too soon. This is set in the 60s, and it has all of those sort of historical references that happened in Australia in the 60s, like people not having seatbelts in the car and running outside for the Mr. Whippy truck and things not costing a fortune. And it was just really lovely. And there's also a nice thread of the family culture. So Anna's family is Jewish, and so there's discussions around that and around the celebrations that they have, which I thought was really, really nice. It is a lovely little middle grade book. It's very easy to read. The chapters are pretty short and you can get through it very quickly, and I'm looking forward to introducing this one to my class. Then I read Notebook Know-How Strategies for the Writer's Notebook by Amy Buckner, and this is another reference book for writer's notebooks in the classroom, and this one is written by a teacher for the classroom, and it has a whole lot of different activity ideas from launching writer's notebooks through to embedding the skills needed for finding ideas, cultivating ideas, and also editing and revising. So I really enjoyed this. I took a lot of practical ideas away from it. This one has tabs everywhere, mostly because I wanted to mark lessons, quotes, and other books to go and reference. So I will be utilizing this in my classroom. We did start our writer's notebooks and the kids are very excited about them. This was originally published in 2005 by Stenhouse, and because it's a reference book, I'm not really giving it a rating. The last book that I read this week was on my Kindle. It was a review copy from NetGalley, and that was Severed by Shona Husk. This is a 2019 release from 9 Star Press, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. It's kind of hard to pinpoint the genre of this book. It is a science fiction dystopian / paranormal-ish book that sort of turns into an erotica book by the end of it. So it's kind of a weird mishmash, but I loved it. And Shona Husk, I didn't realize, is an Australian author, which was kind of cool. So this is a world where men and women have evolved differently. Women have evolved to have wings and men don't. As such, men basically live on the ground and women sort of live in the upper echelons of society because they have wings and they fly around. Biologically, they're different to humans anyway, so it's sort of our world, but not. We sort of jump into the action with 3 characters. There's Hallie, who is a police arrow. She is one of the elite in the police force, and she is injured in a raid on one of the rougher parts of town, and she is discovered by local enforcer Jarrow, who decides that he is actually going to try and help her, and so he brings her back to his lover Avon, who is the gang's surgeon, and together they sort of help fix her up and give her shelter, because they don't really believe in what the gang they're associated with is doing anymore, and they both sort of want to escape from that life, and they don't want the blood of another woman on their hands. And of course, the danger of bringing Hallie into their world while she recovers is quite high and can cause quite a bit of problems for both Avon and Jarrow, and the two are still trying to develop their relationship anyway. So this goes from being a male-male relationship book to a male-male-female relationship book, and it was just enjoyable. It was fast, easy to read. The world, even though it was outlandish, felt real, and I enjoyed it. So those are the books that I read this week. Now quickly onto some stats. My average rating is probably about a 4. I'm still mostly reading adult books, but the YA category I think has gone up this month. The gap between my male and female author is lessening because I did read a lot more female authors this month after my month of sci-fi in January. Likewise, my protagonist genders in books is sort of evening out a little bit more, which is nice. I've mostly read trade paperback books, but again, my ebooks are also increasing, which is good. My genre, there's a lot more variety in my genre this month. I've still mostly read science fiction, but I'm getting there. I've mostly read novels. My page length average is between 300 and 399 pages. And actually this month I read more 2019 releases, which was quite good because it means I'm reading some things that are coming in. So those are my stats. In the comments below, let me know if you have read any of the books that I've read this week or if you're planning to read them. Or let me know something that you have read in the last 7 days that has really captured your attention. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're having a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.